Okay, then while I was watching the KSI fight, or him going over the KSI fight, we're gonna check out the Saul Poppy versus Anthony Taylor and what really happened. Cause Saul Poppy lost. Bro was getting a bunch of like punches on him. Like each hit counts as a point, or each hit counts towards you getting 1 point. So
Saul Poppy versus Anthony Taylor. This fight, frankly, did not go the way that I saw it going. However, everything that we said was in Anthony Taylor's favor is what he implemented perfectly. And we saw the biggest gap in Saul Poppy's boxing game. Yeah. And unfortunately, we might have seen a bit of his ceiling. And I think that it might just be a little bit lower than we all had hoped and anticipated. However, that doesn't mean that he's not going to be able to fix those issues, because the biggest issue in this fight was the cardio. We can see pretty clearly why they wanted this fight not to be 4 rounds, why they didn't want this fight to be 3 rounds, because Saul Poppy just did not have the cardio and the conditioning to take this fight into deep waters. Because when you're going to win on decision, which is what we talked about when we talked about Anthony Taylor, we said people will not knock this guy out. This guy's durable as they come. You've got to be able to win on points. And to win on points, you have to have volume. Now, the first round, I personally gave it to Saul Poppy. 2 of the judges didn't. However, for me, he was doing very well at, keeping the distance, using his feet defensively, and landing the shots inside. We could see he was really trying to interrupt the overhand right of Anthony Taylor, because straight punches beat looping punches, and he landed some great shots. I'm not going to take that away from him. But the thing is against a guy like Anthony Taylor, a few good shots aren't enough, because he's just so durable. He just walks right through them. And after the first round of Saul Poppy, doing what Saul Poppy normally does, keeping the range, right? Nice step backs and then 1-2 counters, right? Some good counters. We instead saw Saul Poppy just kind of walking towards Anthony Taylor. When Anthony Taylor would throw shots at Saul Poppy wasn't even rolling out of the way. And the worst part is he wasn't stepping back. He wasn't using his normal range control to create that distance. Instead, he would just wear a few shots and try to land one of his own. But Anthony Taylor, being a gritty, durable, and intelligent game fighter, just smothered him. He'd throw his combination, 1, 2, 3, coming downstairs, upstairs. And then instead of allowing Saul Poppy to counter from in close, like we've seen him do, he just grabbed Saul Poppy. So instead, Saul Poppy's only chance to win would have been shots at range. But instead, Saul Poppy was just lazily, or more realistically, exhaustedly walking forwards into the range of Anthony Taylor, who's a guy that doesn't have range. He's a guy that's short, a guy that has little T-Rex arms, and usually has to work his way into his opponent. Instead, Saul Poppy was essentially just walking right into Anthony Taylor's game, because he didn't have the energy anymore to set up the shots like he did in the first round. He didn't have the energy anymore to create the traps, to bait Anthony Taylor into his shots, because even when he would bait Anthony Taylor in, he just didn't have the energy to do anything more than one shot. And even if he did get the one shot, Anthony Taylor just shrugged it off and kept fighting and kept coming forward, and won via volume and pressure. Now, I want to give him more credit than that, because he didn't just have volume. He also mixed it up really well. We saw some nice big overhands, but also good left hooks and good right hands to the body. This is something that I don't think Saul Poppy was used to. Having this variety of shots coming towards you was something that was definitely a little bit past what he'd faced in his previous fights. Josh Broikner was a very traditional 1-2 down the middle kind of guy. He didn't really give him a ton of different looks. And frankly, when we see this, we see a Saul Poppy that just didn't have the ability to implement a game plan, because he didn't have the fitness to stay as the fighter he was. He was a totally different fighter in round 2 and 3 than he was in round 1. Just walking forward, bouncing shots off his head. And Anthony Taylor rose into the fight. He seemed like he knew that this was part of the game plan, and he knew that he kind of had to survive and try his best to win the first round. But he for sure was taking it away in the second and third. And you could tell, he could feel the tide shifting, and he knew he was strong. The guy looks like a little freaking pit bull, right? He's jacked, and he's weighing on Saul Poppy's arms, getting him in the clinch, using that weight and that strength to really burn out the arms of Saul Poppy, who just obviously doesn't look like he's in great shape, and unfortunately doesn't seem like he's in that great of shape. Now, what I like is this is something that can be fixed, and Saul Poppy can definitely go back to the drawing board, get back in the gym, and really focus on that cardio and conditioning and come back better, because he absolutely has the skills. And Anthony Taylor is not even an influencer, right? The guy was a professional fighter that somehow kind of wound his way into this influencer space. So with that being said,
would it be? Would it make sense for
I think that this was a clear win for Anthony Taylor, but I don't think it's the end for Salt Papi. Let me know what you guys
I
think in
don't
the
either.
comments. Obviously, a bit disappointing and obviously a big upset, but I still thought it was a great fight. Let me know, guys. Take it easy. Bye.
Do you think they should rematch? I feel like it would make a good rematch. Really pulled a great upset. Much props. Exposed all of Salt's flaws and made everyone realize that Jake would step Salt in a few rounds. No, he wouldn't. Are you joking? You dropped your clown hat, bro. Bro, I saw it going this way. Saw Papi hasn't really beat anyone noteworthy, and I think a lot of people hyped him up after the TKO Josh. But let's be real, Josh gave up 100%. Could have continued fighting, so I'm overall not surprised by this outcome in the slightest. I know people will say if there were more rounds, Papi would have won. No, if there was less rounds, he would have won. More would be bad. But that's really just like saying if football game was longer, the losing team could have made a comeback. There's no weight or point to the argument. He's not wrong though. So like, subscribe, see you guys later. Hope you have a good day or night, and bye.